If you don't control your emotions, they will control you, and they will always choose comfort over growth. Not progress, not discipline. Comfort. That is how most people quietly destroy their own potential. No explosion, no drama, just slow erosion from the inside. They think power is loud. They think strength is aggression. They think control means suppression. They are wrong. Emotions are not enemies. They are signals. Information. They exist to be noticed, not obeyed. Most people feel something and immediately act on it. Anger appears and they react. Fear appears and they retreat. Impulse rises and they give in. This is not freedom. This is emotional slavery. The strong understand something simple. Feeling is not instruction. Just because something is intense does not mean it deserves action. True power begins with observation. You feel the anger rise. You feel the heat in your chest, the tension in your jaw, the speed of your thoughts, and you stop. You don't suppress it. You don't explode with it. You watch it. That moment of stillness is where discipline lives. Anger is fast. Fear is fast. Impulse is fast. They appear suddenly, especially when you are tired, when you feel ignored, when your ego feels threatened. This is when untrained minds collapse, and trained minds take control. Discipline decides what happens next. Not emotion. Not mood, discipline. Self-awareness is not emotional. It is calm. It is quiet. You see what is happening inside you without judgment. You don't identify with the emotion. You don't say this is me. You say this is happening. That separation changes everything. Because emotional control builds focus. Focus builds results. Results build confidence. This sequence never changes. People try to skip steps. They chase confidence first. They chase motivation. They fail every time. Confidence comes from control. When you control yourself, your thoughts slow down. Your decisions sharpen, your vision clears. You stop wasting energy, reacting to things that don't matter. You stop explaining yourself. You stop defending your ego. You stop seeking validation. That energy returns to where it belongs. Inside, toward improvement, toward mastery. Pause before reacting. Always breathe. Slowly create space between stimulus and response. That space is not weakness. That space is power. Inside that space, you choose who you will be, not who you feel like being, but who you decided to become. The untrained mind reacts instantly. The trained mind waits. Silence becomes protection. Stillness becomes dominance. Most people fear silence because silence reveals truth. It exposes weakness. It exposes insecurity. That is why they stay loud. You don't. You train your mind daily, not just your body. Stillness. Reflection. Awareness. You sit with discomfort until it loses its grip on you. You stop running from pressure. You let it refine you. This is mental training. Control is not built in comfort. It is built in resistance. Every time you resist an impulse, your discipline grows stronger. Every time you pause instead of react, you reinforce self-trust. You begin to rely on yourself. That reliability becomes confidence. Not emotional confidence, unshakable confidence. The kind that doesn't depend on outcomes. Because you know one thing for certain, no matter what happens, you will handle it. Emotions stop owning you. They inform you, nothing more. You still feel anger. You still feel fear. You still feel pressure. But they no longer dictate your behavior. You dictate your response. This is mastery. Calm becomes your weapon. Not aggression. Not noise. Not chaos. Calm. The calmer you become, the clearer you think. The clearer you think, the fewer mistakes you make. Emotional people chase relief. Controlled people build outcomes. They don't need approval. They don't need attention. They don't need recognition. They move with intention. They speak only when necessary. They act precisely. Control does not announce itself. It is felt. When chaos appears, you don't rush. You assess. When provoked, you don't explode. You observe. Your ego no longer leads. Your discipline does. And that makes you dangerous. A harmless person is not good. A controlled person is. Because control means choice, and choice means power. Every controlled response sharpens your edge. Every restrained reaction hardens your mindset. You stop being predictable. You stop being emotional leverage. People can no longer pull your strings because you took control of the source, your mind. You become patient, not passive, patient. You let others expose themselves while you remain composed, while you calculate. Time begins to work for you because you are no longer rushed by emotion. You don't force outcomes. You allow precision. This is internal dominance, not visible, not loud, but absolute. And when you speak, your words carry weight because you don't waste them. When you move, your actions matter because they are chosen. This is the identity shift. You no longer say, "I couldn't help it." You say, "I chose this." Responsibility returns to you, and with it, power. You don't eliminate emotions. You master them. You don't fight yourself. You command yourself. You become calm under pressure, focused in chaos, stable in uncertainty. Others feel overwhelmed. You remain centered. Others panic. You breathe. Others react. You respond. This is not personality. This is training, repeated daily, until control becomes automatic, until discipline becomes identity, until clarity replaces noise. This is self-mastery. Choose discipline. Choose awareness. Stay in control. The path doesn't end here. This is where it deepens. Control is not a destination. It is a practice. A discipline renewed every single day. There will be moments when old habits try to return, when emotion speaks louder than reason, when pressure tightens its grip. This is normal. This is expected. Control is not proven when things are easy. It is revealed when things are unstable, when someone disrespects you, when results are delayed, when effort feels unnoticed. That is the test. You do not rise to emotion. You lower it. You slow your breath. You steady your thoughts. You remind yourself of who is in command. You stop asking, "How do I feel?" and instead ask, "What is the correct action?" That single question separates impulse from mastery. A controlled mind is not rigid. It is flexible. It adapts without panic. It adjusts without frustration. You learn to detach from outcomes, not from effort, never from effort. You give everything you have. Then, you release the need to react emotionally to what comes next. This makes you patient, dangerously patient, because patience allows you to see what others miss: patterns, opportunities, weaknesses. While others rush forward blindly, you wait, you watch, you understand, and when you move, it is precise. Emotional control also teaches humility, not weakness, humility. You stop assuming you know everything. You listen more. You observe more. Your ego no longer interrupts learning. This accelerates growth. A calm mind absorbs information faster, processes it deeper, applies it more accurately. That is why composed individuals progress quietly and consistently. No spikes, no crashes, just steady elevation. You also begin to notice something powerful. When you stay calm, others lose control, not because you provoke them, but because your composure reflects their chaos back at them. They reveal themselves: impatience, insecurity, emotional dependence. You no longer need to win arguments. Time wins them for you. The more disciplined your emotions become, the lighter you feel. Less mental noise, less internal resistance. Your energy stops leaking into unnecessary reactions. It gets conserved, redirected into work, into training, into long-term vision. You start thinking in years, not moments. Short-term emotion loses authority over long-term purpose. And that is when life changes direction. Because the world rewards stability. It trusts consistency. People rely on those who don't shake under pressure, who don't drift with every mood. You become someone others depend on, and more importantly, someone you depend on. This is quiet power, not impressive at first glance, but unstoppable over time. Stay here, stay disciplined, stay aware, control your emotions, and nothing outside you will ever fully control you again. This is where you separate from the noise. While the world reacts, you remain intentional. You stop chasing validation. You stop needing approval. You stop explaining your choices to those who haven't earned that access. Your focus narrows. Your standards rise. Every action now has a reason. Every movement has direction. You don't waste energy proving strength. You build it in silence. Days become structured. Routines become non-negotiable. Even when motivation fades, discipline stays. Because discipline doesn't require feeling ready. It requires showing up anyway. You begin to respect boredom, to embrace repetition. What others call monotonous, you recognize as refinement. Each day slightly sharper, slightly stronger, slightly more controlled. And one day, without announcement, results appear. Not sudden, not loud, inevitable. People will say you changed. They'll be right, but they won't understand how slowly, how deliberately, how painfully controlled the transformation was. And that's fine. This path was never meant to be explained, only walked. Comment, I control my mind.